For today's video, we'll be talking about content discovery. So, what is content? In the context of a web app security, content can be files, videos, pictures, backup, a website feature, etc. etc. When we talk about content discovery, we are not talking about the obvious things that presented to us and we can see on the website. It's the things that aren't immediately presented to us and that weren't always intended for public access. This content could be pages or portals intended for staff usage only, older versions of the website, backup files, configuration files, administration panels, and so on and so forth. And there are three main ways of discovering content on a website: manually, automated, and OSINT. OSINT for open source intelligence. So in the manual discovery part of it, we saw some of the things we could discover in the last videos, but there are more things that can be discovered. Like, for example, the robots.txt. So the robot.txt file is a document that tells search engines the pages that are and aren't allowed to show on their search engine results, or to ban specific search engines from crawling the website altogether. So it's a common practice to restrict certain website areas that they aren't displayed in the search engine results. So these pages may be administration portals or files meant for the website's customers. So this file, the robots.txt file, gives pen testers a green list of location on the website that the owners don't want us to look at. So let's go back to our website that we've already started working on it in the last video. So let's go and look at robots.txt, and how we then here what we see is user agent star. So that means all user agents, whatever the user agent, they are allowed to go onto the homepage, but they are disallowed to go on the staff portal. So for a pen tester, it's a good thing to know. So I'm gonna add this staff portal to the list of links that we discovered between last time and now. Another interesting thing to look for is the fav icon. Fav icon. I don't know how to pronounce it. The fav icon is a small icon displayed in the browser address bar or tab used for branding a website. So this here. Sometimes when frameworks are used to build a website, a fav icon that is part of the installation gets left over, and if the website developer doesn't replace it with a custom one, this can be a clue on what framework is used. So OWASP has a database of common framework icons that can be used to check against the target's fav icon. You'll find the link in the description box for that database. Once we know the framework stack, we can use external resources to discover more about it. Let's try and do it on our website. So the exercise tells us to go to this web page, and we say website coming soon, and there's this fav icon here. So let's view the page source, and here is the link is here. So it's image fav icon.ico. So this is the fav icon that is used. So what we can do is we have to just look at the MD5 for this. So to get the MD5, let's open a new terminal and get it. So curl, here we have the link. So we paste the link, and then we send it to the MD5 sum to have the result. So once it's done, here we have the result. So once this is done, we go on to the OWASP database for fave icon. And here we go. We search for the MD5 sum, and that's when we found the framework that was used. So we can also do that on Windows. You can find that with PowerShell. Okay, let's try doing this with PowerShell. So curl, then I already have this here. So curl, PowerShell, we have curl, then the URL for the fave icon. Use basic parsing -o fave icon. So this will put the output, the icon that was downloaded, into this file. And so we have it. Like now let's get the hash. So get file hash fave icon.ico, then algorithm, and we tell it to use MD5 to hash the file. And here we have it. So another place where we would like to we would look at is sitemap.xml. So this files, it gives a list of every file the website owner wishes to be listed on a search engine. So these can sometimes contain areas of the website that are a bit more difficult to navigate to, or even list some old web pages that the current site no longer use, but are still working behind the scenes. So let's go back here and search for sitemap.xml and see if there is anything that's interesting to look at or to look for. These links for now are things that we saw, nothing new. Contact, customers login. Oh, and here we have a new area that we didn't have before, or maybe we did. Let's open the notepad. No, we didn't have it before, so we can add it to our list of places to look at later on, or we can look at it right now. Why not? And here we have, you found the sitemap endpoint. So it's not every website, you have to know that not every website will have a robots.txt or sitemap.xml, but it's always interesting to look at those places and see if they do exist, to have an idea of what are places that normally shouldn't be there, or what are places that the website owner doesn't want us to look for. So in manual discovery, we also have HTTP headers. So when we make a request to a web server, the server returns various HTTP headers. These headers can contain sometimes useful information, such as the web server software and the programming script language in use. Using this information, We could find vulnerable versions of the software being used, so we can search for the web server software version and so on, and then we find if there is any vulnerabilities that are known to it. Let's send a request to our web server and see what we can get from the HTTP headers. So let's use curl again this time, but instead of just let's put, so it's HTTP 10.10.12.3, and let's use the -v switch. So the -v switch will enable the verbose mode for curl, and here we have it. So let's go back to just the HTTP headers. So here we have the headers. Here we have the headers. So this is what we sent. So we send this request, and then this is the answer. 200 OK, so successfully returned. Then the server in the headers, so the HTTP header server has this information that we found out in the video before already, and we can also see other information like the date, the content type, transfer encoding, connection, says keep alive, and the flag that we need for this task. Sometimes you can also find in the headers the exported by, which will give you what type of language scripting it uses in the backend, like PHP or whatever. We can also find the framework stack. So once the framework used has been discovered, either by using the fave icon like earlier, or in the page source, such as in comments, like in the previous video, or in copyright notices or credits, then we can locate the framework website. And from there, we can learn more about the software and other information, possibly leading to more content we can discover. If you remember last time, or if you don't, so in one of the comments we found out that the framework was this one, and this is the like the link for that framework. So let's open it, and here in the documentation, what it says, once you've installed the framework, navigate to this page on your website. You can log in with the username admin and password admin. So let's see if they didn't change the password and the username. And exactly, they didn't change it, which is normally you should always change default credentials. Another thing that we can use for content discovery is OSINT, and more specifically here would be Google Hacking or Google Dorking. There are external sources available that can help in discovering information about our target, and these resources are often referred as OSINT, or open source intelligence, as they are freely available tools that can collect information. So Google Dorking or Google Hacking utilizes Google's advanced search engine features to pick out custom content. So and here we can for instance, pick out results from a certain domain name using site filter, for example, site:/tryhackme.com. You can also use that and then match this up with certain terms. For example, the word admin, ending up with this request here, this search request. And this then would only return results from the tryhackme.com website, which contain the word admin in its content. And we can combine multiple filters as well. So here are some of the filters that can be used. So site, in URL, file type, in title. So site returns results only from the specified website address. In URL returns results that have the specified word in the URL. File type returns results which are a particular file extension. And in title return results that contain the specified word in the title. So if you want to look at more filters in the Google Hacking or Google Dorking, I have a video that I'll link down below if you want to watch it. So another tool is Webalizer. Webalizer is an online tool and browser extension that helps identify what technologies a website uses, such as frameworks, content management systems, payment processors, and much more. It can even find version numbers as well. So if you want to, you should definitely go and look at the website. So we can find Webalizer here. You can put the website URL that you want, or the technology that you're searching for, or a keyword, or an email address. So write in whatever you're searching for. So if your target is a website, you can use this to find information about it. Another interesting tool is the Wayback Machine. So the Wayback Machine, which is at this link, archive.org/web, is a historical archive of websites that dates back to the late 90s. You can search here for a domain name, a URL, and it will show you all the times the service scraped the web page and saved the contents. So this service can help uncover old pages that may still be active on the current website. Let's look at tryhackme.org, what it looked like a few years ago. So once we open the archive.org, there is here the Wayback Machine. So let's just put tryhackme.com and search for it. And here it says this web page was saved 431 times between December 2nd of the year 2018 until like the January the 2nd of 2023. So let's just look at the first one it was saved and have just an idea of what it looked like at the time. So here's the website, what it looked like at that particular time. There's also GitHub. Before talking about GitHub, let's talk about Git. Git is a version control system that tracks changes to a file in a project. So it lets you view changes made to a project, track who made those changes, and check when the changes were made, and understand why the changes were made. So when a user have finished making their changes, they commit them with a message and then push them back to a central location that we call a repository for the other users to then pull those changes to their local machines. So GitHub is just a hosted version of Git on the internet. So repositories can either be set to public or private and have various access controls. We can use GitHub search feature to look for company names or website names to try and locate repositories belonging to a target. Once discovered, you may have access to source code, passwords, or other content that we hadn't yet found before. Another place to look at are S3 buckets. So S3 buckets are a storage service provided by Amazon AWS. It allows people to save files and even static website content in the cloud, accessible over HTTP and HTTPS. The owner of the file can set permission to either make files public, private, and even writable. Sometimes these access permissions are incorrectly set and inadvertently allow access to files that shouldn't be available to the public. So the format of the S3 buckets is this. So a name, and then s3.s3.amazonaws.com, where the name is decided by the owner. For example, Tryhackme assets.s3.amazonaws.com. S3 buckets can be discovered in many ways, such as finding the URLs in the website page source, GitHub repositories, or even automating the process. And one common automation method is by using the company name followed by common terms such as name of the company, assets, or name www, or name public, or name private, and so on and so forth. And the last content discovery thing that we are going to see today are automated discovery tools, or automated discovery. So what is automated discovery? It is the process of using tools to discover rather than doing it manually. So this process is automated as it usually contains hundreds, thousands, or even millions of requests to a website. These requests check whether a file or a directory exists on a website, giving us access to resources we didn't previously know existed. And this process is made possible by using a resource called word lists. So what are the word lists? Word lists are just text files that contain a long list of commonly used words. Different use case for this word list, for example, a password word list would include the most frequently used passwords. We can also have a most commonly used directory and file names word list that would help in looking for content. And one excellent resource for word lists, which Daniel Messler, I don't know how to pronounce it, I'm sorry, curates, is this one, the sec lists. And we have automation tools that are used, and although there are many different content discovery tools available, all with their features and flaws, we are going to cover 3 which are pre-installed on the attack box, and it's FUF, Derp, and GoBuster. So let's try each one and see what they look like. Okay, so let's try using FUF. For that, we'll use the word list that is here. So if you're using your own box, your own Kali or whatever, and you're using a VPN, just download the whole sec list or the part of the sec list that you need. So here it's already installed or downloaded here, so I'm just gonna use this one. So after putting what word list I'm going to use, using what's now the host searching for. So here it would be HTTP. And then for fuzz, we just use the keyword fuzz. That's what we tell fuzz to use the words in the word list common.txt and put it here instead of the fuzz keyword. And let's do it. And we are gonna wait for it to finish. So once it's done, here, what do we have? It's okay. Let's make it bigger. We have, so there is monthly. So we have here development.log, assets. If you remember, we did find assets before. Contact, we also found contact before. Customers, we found it before. There's news. Private also is a new one. Robots.txt. Sitemap.xml. So if you see, private has a status code of 301. Permanent redirect. Sitemap.xml, we saw it before. And that's it. Okay, let's do the same thing, but this time, instead of using fab, let's try using derp. Okay, let's clear this. For derp, it's instead of having it like, so we put first the place where we are searching for, then we put the word list. And we just launch it. And here you go. So we find, so contact, customers, development.log. So customers is a 302 code error HTTP code status code, which means it's, instead of being like 301 was permanent redirect, this one is temporary redirect. Then development.log, monthly, news, private, robots.txt, sitemap.xml, assets, avatars, private, and then we find private/index.php here. Let's do the same thing, but using GoBuster. So GoBuster, dear URL. So we are telling it we are searching for for this host website, and then we give it the word list. And we go. So it will find still the same assets, contact, customers, development.log, monthly, news, private, robots.txt, and sitemap. The three of them will give you the same answer because we are using the same word list, by the way. And it helps us discover for content in a much faster way. So that was it for today. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and let's meet next week. Bye!